It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, ends up, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press. 435-339-0321. If you want to chime in, love to get your texts on various different topics this hour. Last hour, a lot of NBA talk. There may be some a little bit more this hour as well. The Rookie of the Year will be announced any minute now.
Yeah, probably in the next few seconds.
And so Walker Kessler is a finalist. See how many votes he got. And we'll get the stat that blew our minds, our player of the week. Interesting piece put together by ESPN Plus listing what they call 8 sleepers in college football's 2023 spring transfer portal. And their poster boy on the main image that they've used for this article includes a now former Aggie. So we'll get into that, and if you buy what they're assessing there for this player. So a lot of different things to discuss here on the Full Court Press. And there it is. Orlando Magic forward Paolo Banchero has won the Rookie of the Year. Shams Charania just now reporting. No real surprise there. The only thing I would like to see is just how many votes did he get? What kind of consideration did Walker Kessler receive?
Yeah, that should be coming out in the next few minutes. We had it pretty quickly after Marketing was named Most Improved Player, and I'm sure it came pretty quickly after the other awards had been announced. We're running out of players. I think we still have MVP and the Clutch Player. And
Clutch Player has been awarded.
Oh, has it?
That was De'Aaron Fox.
Really?
Yes, beat out DeMar DeRozan and Jimmy Butler.
Interesting. I know I have not looked into. They probably just go to the NBA's clutch stats page because they break it down by clutch situations. I forget.
And he ran away with it too.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact criteria, but it's usually last 5-ish minutes, games within 5-ish points. Again, I can't remember the specific criteria, but he must have dominated those numbers because otherwise, it's just perception. If you just went purely based off of perception, I don't know if any of those 3 players would have been in there. They would have picked LeBron and other players.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox got 91 first place votes. Jimmy Butler got 1. Jalen Brunson, Joel Embiid, Donovan Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, and Kyrie Irving all got 1. Steph Curry got 2 votes there, but clearly De'Aaron Fox was the runaway winner in first place. Jimmy Butler finished second, and DeMar DeRozan third.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, he led players in clutch points per game, game that involved being in the clutch. There were technically players above them that appeared in 1 or 2 games in the clutch. So De'Aaron Fox, pretty far up there.
So they've already named Clutch Player of the Year, the Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, which went to Malcolm Brogdon, and Lauri Markkanen, Most Improved, and then just now the Rookie of the Year going to Paolo Banchero, and I think all that's left now is the MVP.
Yeah, it must be. I can't think of any others since I thought Clutch hadn't been awarded. Apparently, I'm missing all these awards.
Started on April 17th.
I'm on Twitter every day. How do I? Do people not care about posting these things? Whenever LeBron sneezes, there's a tweet about it. Somebody won the dang Clutch Player of the Year, which I guess nobody's going to care about that award. It's going to be
It's a new award.
Yeah, it's new. It's kind of like Most Improved Player, where it's it's there, it's nice, but nobody's going to fawn over it. And sixth man's kind of the same way. People really go after Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, Coach of the Year. Those are your prestigious ones.
Now, some of these awards, if you receive certain awards or if you're named to the NBA, All-NBA team, those are like qualifiers to help you get like a max contract. Does Clutch Player of the Year, since that's new, does that now qualify as well?
Yeah, it's a major award. I can't imagine it wouldn't.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's a super niche award. Like, Most Improved Player was already kind of out there where it's like, you improved the most in 1 year. Not always indicative of being a superstar. It usually just means you kind of made the jump into being a star. That potential was probably already there. You just took advantage of it finally.
Yeah. I actually like Clutch Player of the Year award because Clutch, defining and understanding and tracking Clutch is become more of that's a modern thing in the NBA within the last few years, right? What happens in the last 5 minutes of a game if it's within 5 points? And there's a lot of variance. The game can be decided either way in that point. So I like looking at, which players really perform, which players step up their game in those moments and really help their teams out. I like that.
Yeah, it is nice to kind of point out. And I mean, to Aaron Fox, I don't know if he really stepped up his game. He was the go-to guy. He did shoot like 52% in clutch, which is probably more than he normally shoots. But I don't know. I don't have any problem with it. Go ahead and award it. I think there is value in basically what you said in pointing it out, but like clutch in the regular season doesn't really feel like it's as much of a thing. Because when we think of clutch, we tend to think of playoff moments.
Yeah, that's true. Because if you look at teams, you take away the argument or the discussion about players. You look at teams in the clutch. Utah is on the list. It's got to be in the top 5 of games decided in the final 5 minutes within 5 points or less. They had a ton this year, but they missed the playoffs. So it tells you that they're a competitive team, but they don't quite have the players to step up their individual game to seal a victory. But some of the players that were the finalists there, those are guys who were, playoff bound or in the hunt for playoffs. DeMar DeRozan, they were in the play-in tournament. Jimmy Butler, he's in the playoffs, so is De'Aaron Fox. So it makes sense. The guys who are on teams who win more games than they lose, and opportunities to really step up their game to try to help win games. It's worth noting. I think it's worth tracking. 435-339-0321. Waiting to see the voting totals for Rookie of the Year. We haven't quite seen that yet. When that does come out, we'll update you on that. Because Walker Kessler was a finalist for Rookie of the Year. Would love to see just how close he was and what kind of consideration that he got. But in the meantime, there's kind of switching topics a little bit. We teased this end of last hour and just talking about it here at the start of the show. ESPN, it's part of ESPN Plus. If you don't have a membership, you probably can't see all the detail here. But the headline is 8 sleepers in college football's 2023 spring transfer portal. And one of those 8 is Bishop Davenport. And it's his photo, which they use for the headline of the article. And kind of interesting that he would make their list of 8, considering he's a freshman and really didn't get a lot of snaps at the Division I level. So this is pretty much all based on potential, and I guess that's why they call them sleepers, because you don't really know much about some of these guys. And Bishop Davenport is one of those.
Yeah, and they certainly dug in. They clearly were looking into him. This isn't just this is a prospect. They know a little bit about, I'm sure they watched some of the stuff, the guy who wrote this. But if you're talking about someone who's going to make an impact this year, no. We all know Davenport's potential. We all saw it. He had the best arm as a freshman of anyone in that quarterback room. He also had the worst accuracy of anyone who saw the field. He was inaccurate, and that's the thing, is he needed to refine that, and that's something you can work on. It's why we tend to love big arm prospects, is generally you can work on accuracy and get better at it. Jordan Love got better at it. He was awful his first year in terms of accuracy. I think he barely completed 50% of his passes. Goes on, completes like 65-ish, in his big, I think it was sophomore season or something like that. Because he left after his junior season, right?
Correct. Yep.
So it was his big sophomore season. And he was pretty accurate that season. So you can work on accuracy and you can refine those. These guys are at an age where they are going to be able to refine those a little bit more just because they're a lot earlier in their development. So that's something he could have worked on. Could have been, a very solid quarterback, because he completed 60% of his passes last year, but that was because most of the passes he completed were super short. Whenever he went beyond a super short pass, a screen pass, a shovel pass, bubble screen, it was usually off target. But again, that's something he could have refined. The ball looked really pretty on its way to sailing over his receiver's head. And that's what everyone saw. They saw a guy who could throw a really pretty pass. And that's probably what these ESPN guys are thinking, is they see a guy who throws a really pretty pass, and if that develops, he becomes a really good quarterback. But I know there are some people who are asking, is there going to be a quarterback controversy? Does Bishop Davenport usurp Cooper Legas? And I was like, did you watch Bishop Davenport last year? Did you watch him in spring ball so far? He was the third-string quarterback. A lot of people, I think, thought he was the second-string quarterback. He wasn't.
No. Yeah, he was third. And here's the thing with Davenport. He had potential. I mean, that's why they got him. There were some things that when you see him, when we saw him in live action, we saw, okay, here's a guy with a big arm. Not the most accurate, but he can throw a deep ball. Throws it pretty effortlessly.
He had a lot of Jordan Love in him.
Yeah, he did. Really, that's a really good comparison. But it's like this is a true freshman gets kind of thrown into something who hasn't done anything. And Coach Anderson admitted this is a guy who had done nothing except for sideline drills. He hadn't taken any snaps with the first team, and he got thrown into it in that second half when he first got thrown into things. Then he had a week to prepare for the one game that he started. But we saw that this is a guy that has some potential. He's going to need a lot of developing, but I don't see him going somewhere and starting on a team this next year.
Yeah.
If anybody's smart, and if Bishop Davenport will allow himself, he'll need if he's going to go somewhere. He's leaving. Then go somewhere where he can develop into a player for them, but not have the expectation that he should be a starter in the end of August, 1st of September.
Yeah, if he transfers down, he could find somewhere that's willing to take a chance on him, because they'll be landing a guy that probably has a better arm that's ever been at that team's program ever. But if he takes a sideways, or I don't know if he can even take a step higher, given what's on tape, then yeah, he's going to sit behind somebody. And I think maybe he's trying to find some place that has a better timeline, because Cooper Legas got 2 more seasons of eligibility. So it's not like it didn't make sense for Bishop to transfer. And I don't want to sound like sour grapes and saying Bishop was never that good. And, I don't want to sound like I'm harping on him, because Bishop was primed to be a very, very good replacement to Cooper Legas. But I think timeline-wise, it does make more sense for him to transfer. He can get more out of it. Maybe only develop 1 more year. Or if he finds somewhere that'll let him start right away, maybe he can kind of try and combine playing and developing. Maybe have a rough first-year starter, but then, play a couple more solid years. Or I think, is he a redshirt freshman?
They just list him as a freshman.
Yeah, because I think since he only played in 3 games, he gets that redshirt year. So
right.
I guess he got 4 years. So Bishop can very likely find a good landing spot if he goes somewhere where maybe he'll only get 1 year to sit behind somebody and then jump into a starting spot. That's probably the ideal world. Take a sideways lateral, movement to another school that has a better timeline and can work with him and he can get on the field quicker and take advantage of his talents. And in that case, yeah, he probably very well fits into a list like this. If you're going in with the assumption that this upcoming year, he's not going to be, a super great quarterback. He'll be very raw. He'll be inaccurate, complete under 60% of his passes, have maybe a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. But I'll be darned if he started, he wouldn't throw a lot of pretty passes the entire year.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's very fun to watch him throw the ball because he does throw it effortlessly and with a tight spiral, and it looks good. But as far as impact, he's a year away.
It was written by Billy Tucker, focuses on football recruiting for ESPN. But here's some of the things he said about Bishop Davenport. Despite some inconsistencies mechanically, he possessed raw overall talent as a passer. And then later he adds, there are still unrefined mechanics, but no doubt there is Power 5 talent to develop. Davenport was considered one of the jewels of Utah State's 2022 recruiting class and is now in the 2023 transfer portal.
And saying there's Power 5, talent to develop, if he goes to a Power 5 program, he's probably just going to get overlooked.
He's going to be the third or fourth guy on their depth chart.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of step he needs to take because then he's just fighting this battle all over again. And then some Power 5 school, they're going to land another 3-star recruit who also has a big arm that also threw for 80 touchdowns at a Texas high school.
Or find somebody who's started multiple games at the D1 level.
Yeah, they'll keep finding transfers. So it's like if he goes to P5, he's going to find a worse situation than he is at Utah State, and he'll be all the worse for it. He basically won't have a good college career because they'll see his talent and they'll be like, we've got like 3 of you. Because that's what a lot of these Power 5 schools have, is they have several Bishop Davenports. Some of them who come in at 190 pounds instead of 160 pounds as a freshman. He needs to go to a place that will truly appreciate his skill set, really work at developing him, and will be able to commit to him starting within a year or two. That's what he needs to find, because otherwise he might as well have just stayed at Utah State. He needs to find somewhere that will appreciate him, and that's where take a lateral step to a better timeline or take a step down and be able to start for someone right away to a school that's never seen a guy who can throw the ball like he can.
Right. Just so you know, as we mentioned, there are 8 guys on this list. Bishop Davenport is one of those 8. Others include Cam Robertson, a defensive lineman, transferring from North Texas. He's a freshman. Jalen Henderson, quarterback from Fresno State. He's a redshirt freshman. Jaden Muskrat, an offensive lineman from Tulsa. He's a sophomore. Jeffrey Clark, transferring from Georgia State. He's a junior. And Troy Everett, offensive lineman from Appalachian State. He's a redshirt freshman. Antonio Carter II, a defensive back from Rhode Island. He's a sophomore. And Kari Mans, defensive lineman from Maine, and he's a junior. So, interesting mix of players, all underclassmen that could be interesting players that Utah State maybe could be targeting some of them.
So, one thing, going back to the Rookie of the Year, just had the totals come out a couple minutes ago. So, Walker Kessler got 2 first-place votes, although he took 3rd. Because Jalen Williams took 75 of the second-place votes. So Walker Kessler getting 2 first place, 17 second place, 53 third place. So I'm trying to do the math on how many people left Walker Kessler off their ballot. Can anybody do quick math? Whatever 19 plus 53 is. That's 72. That's what, 28 people left him off their ballot?
That's crazy.
That's Benedict Marthurn, Keegan Murray, and Jaden Ivey are pretty good players, but no, not better than Walker Kessler. That's just pure points per game voting.
Yeah.
Walker Kessler was, at worst, the second best rookie in the league. At worst.
Absolutely. When you consider his overall impact on the game, it's not just about scoring. But I think we get wrapped up into, who scored the most points? And you lose sight of an overall impact of the game. But, 17, so 2 first-place votes, 17 second, and 53 third-place votes. 114 points overall.
So like a runaway third place. I mean, the next closest guy had 27. That was Marthurin, but
yeah,
bunch of people leaving Walker Kessler off their top 3, which is a sham. I know people thought it was a shame that Walker Kessler got first place votes to begin with. But like I said, Walker Kessler, at worst, the most pessimistic you should realistically be about Walker Kessler is he's the second best rookie in the league. That's the floor.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where you begin the discussion, and then you talk about whether or not he was more impactful than Paolo Banchero. And you can have a very realistic discussion about who's better.
435-339-0321. Votes are in. We now know how people around the NBA felt about Walker Kessler. We certainly disagree with them, but I'd love to get your reactions as well. We'll also get the stat that blew our minds, our player of the week, if you want to give a recommendation there. And Bishop Davenport listed as a sleeper in the transfer portal. Certainly Utah State's on the lookout for a few sleepers of their own to try to replace key positions on their roster. We'll continue to look at that and update it as we get that information. But love to get your thoughts as well. 435-339-0321.
Elements has delicious lunch specials, 2 for $30, or the new soup, salad, and bread special for just $10. It's tasty and quick. Elements lunch menu is full of scrumptious items prepared with a personal touch. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecue chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite Munster burger, casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9 p.m. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations today.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Les Olson IT structured cabling is second to none. Tired of old and inefficient cabling? Have an upgrade or remodel planned? Building a new network from the ground up? We offer the very best in low voltage cabling installation, including data, phone, fiber optic, and more. Ask us how to get your free consultation today.
Les Olson IT.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. My wife and I were laughing the other day because she read an article about things not to buy online. The first thing was prom dresses. Dresses advertised versus dresses delivered. Needless to say, what people thought they were getting is not what they got. It's much the same with mattresses. Almost always, buying a mattress online ends in buyers being let down. At My Mattress, we try to always exceed expectations. Lower prices than online and better beds. Only at My Mattress.
Hey everyone, it's Kim with the Logan City Police Department. It's finally springtime and our cat chipping clinic is back. We are teaming up with the Animal Sciences of Bridgerland Technical College to host this event. It will be held Saturday, April 29th from 11 to 1 at the BTEC West building, located at 1410 North and 1000 West. Pre-registration is $10 and can be done by calling 435-716-9300. Walk-ins are also welcome for $12 per chip. Remember, all cats must be in carriers and have proof of rabies vaccination.
Talking the sports you care about. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Napa Auto Parts has 5 locations between Preston and Providence. A lot of great deals in store. And they have that Napa know-how, so they can help you install different things you might be there for your vehicle. And if they can't help you, they can recommend a lot of others qualified people who can. So go check them out. 5 different locations between Preston and Providence. Walker Kessler finishing third in the Rookie of the Year ballot, and got the majority of the third place votes. He did get 2 first place, 17 second place, but 53 third place votes. And how they're weighted. Those first place votes are weighted more. So Jalen Williams receiving a lot more second place votes, so he beats out Kessler for second. But still, nice recognition to have Kessler even in the discussion. It's been a little bit. I guess Donovan Mitchell, probably the last Jazz player that was in discussion for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think the one Rookie of the Year winner in Jazz history, right? Wasn't it Griffith? Did he win Rookie of the Year?
Ooh, boy. That's a good question.
Or is it he that won the slam dunk contest?
He did win the slam dunk contest. I don't know if Utah's ever won a Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I can't remember. Have to look that up. From the text line, 4781, if Kessler had played those minutes all season, not just the second half, then he would win. That's why nobody thinks about him. That's maybe part of it, because he averaged fewer minutes than some of these guys. He only averaged, I think 23 minutes per game. So he averaged, 9.2 points, 8.4 rebounds, 2.3 blocks. And, you look at his starts, he was a little closer to averaging a double-double. Though you look at the games where he played like 30-plus minutes, like, key starter minutes. In those games where he played at least 30 minutes, he averaged 13.4 points, 12.5 rebounds, 2.7 blocks. Which, and again, comparing that to like Jalen Williams getting second place, it's not something to really be upset about. It doesn't really matter. But it just kind of shows the disrespect that Walker Kessler was getting, that the floor is him being second best and you go from there.
Yeah.
Because his impact was the greatest of any rookie. And he was statistically dominant in games where he was actually starting. So he should have been a little higher consideration. And some people recognize that. At least 2 people did. Putting him in first place. And then, a handful of people picking him for second. But way too many people thinking that Jalen Williams was above Walker Kessler.
So looking back on it, and you think you're right, Darrell Griffith was recognized as the Rookie of the Year in the 1980-81 basketball season.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Thought I remember that talk came up during Donovan Mitchell's Rookie of the Year campaign, that Griffith was the last one to do it for.
The only Jazz player to get the award.
Yep.
Walker Kessler, kind of close. Donovan Mitchell, probably the closest in a long time. 435-339-0321 for those who want to chime in. Shifting gears, well, maybe it's connected. 4781, yes. Darrell Griffith, the only Jazz player to win Rookie of the Year 1981.
Yeah, he beat you to it.
Yeah.
I saw that pop up, and then you said it. I was like, yeah, 4781's got you.
That's good. That's fair. But let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about the stat that blew our minds and our player of the week. And if you've got a recommendation, a nomination to make, 435-339-0321. But let's start out with the stat that blew our minds first.
Let's take a look at the numbers. It's the stat that blew our minds.
He did what?
On the Full Court Press.
Wow, that blew my mind.
All right, Jason, you ready? Are you still putting yours together?
No, I forgot to do a stat. I don't have one. I mean, I can tell you one that blew my mind, I guess. And that was just Jimmy Butler's 56 points. That really did kind of, and 471 beat me to that. He just texted in, Jimmy Butler last night is my stat. 4th most points in playoff history, 20 straight points in the first quarter. So I didn't see that text before I said Jimmy Butler, though, so I'm not stealing.
You guys are on the same page.
Yeah, we're just on the same page. That was just probably the closest that did blow my mind, where a lot of them I kind of seek them out and like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. This one was just like, holy cow, 56 points.
And something else that was unique about that is that the next closest Heat player with points output, I think it was Bam Adebayo, and he only had like 17 points or something like that.
Like in the same game?
In the same game?
Yeah.
There's a big gap.
Yeah, this is one of the games where he just puts the team on his back. I think he did something like that in the finals against the Lakers. In like the one game the Heat won, he like carried them and couldn't do that for 7 games. So yeah, Jimmy Butler really carrying the Heat in a crucial game, because if that game goes 2-2, goes back to Milwaukee, we'd think a lot differently about this series. We'd say Milwaukee's got it, and they're going to win.
Giannis is back.
Yeah, now it's like, Heat should win this now.
So mine's, I guess, it's still NBA related. And we kind of alluded to this earlier. Heat and Lakers lead their series 3-1, and that's the first time that multiple teams seeded 7th or 8th have a 3-1 series lead in a single postseason since seeding began in 1984. So what we're seeing unfold is something that's never been done before. The riding the wave of the play-in tournament, getting some momentum on their side, and beating the teams that are ahead of them for both the Lakers and the Miami Heat. It's kind of surprising to me. That's never been done before. 4-7-8-1. Eric Stats, probably LeBron's dumb 2020 game last night.
No, it wasn't. He tried to upstage you there, because he texted in like right as you were saying it.
So, which is crazy, because that is his first such game of his career.
Yeah, he's not one to usually rack up that many rebounds. He's done it every now and again, but usually in like the regular season. He's more of you're like his 25, 10, and 10. Or usually more like 25, 8, and 8. Threat for a triple-double, not always getting it. Him having a 2020 game, that was pretty insane.
At 38 years old.
Yeah, it's just, I am kind of getting tired of every one of these branded accounts being like, year 20. I'm like, shut up. We all know how old LeBron James is. You don't need to fawn over it. Which I know we fawned over it for about 5 minutes in the first hour. But that's like the first time I've done it on air in a while. Like, these guys are doing it like every single,
every hour.
Yeah. Every game, every time he has a decent game, year 20. It's like, okay, we get it. We're all watching LeBron James. We know how. This is the annoying part. It's like, I just want to sit back and enjoy watching LeBron James play, and everyone is making him so insufferable that I want to root against him.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though I just want to watch good basketball, and LeBron plays good basketball, but you make me hate him by making him an insufferable, constantly in my face. I just want to watch good basketball, guys.
Let's find out who our player of the week is. Again, love to get a nomination from you if you've got one. 435-339-0321.
Time to see who the real MVP is.
If you have a good game, your game is going to say that. You don't have to say it.
Puts a lot of cool things in perspective anytime you're the first time doing something.
It's the Full Court Press Player of the Week.
Let's go!
All right, our player of the week. You got your player of the week?
My player of the week, I came up with one. It's not a player who's played good. It's a player who's just made my week so much more enjoyable. Dylan Brooks. The NBA playoffs have just been so much more exciting and drama-filled and enjoyable to watch, mostly by watching Dylan Brooks make a donkey of himself.
A fool of himself.
Yeah. So he's not necessarily played good, but I'm just going to go with the kind of out of the blue, out of the box. He's my player of the week because he's just made basketball so much funner these last 7 days or so.
Okay. All right. I'll give that to you. Mine's kind of a cheat as well because he really didn't do anything last week, but it's in recognition of what he's done. And so I'm going to give it to Lauri Markkanen.
I was about to say, is it Kawhi Leonard? He's not done anything,
last week either. But he wasn't recognized. Lauri Markkanen yesterday, Most Improved Player of the Year award handed out to him. He had to wake up at 2 a.m. in Helsinki, Finland to do some TV and local press. But look, up 10.8 points per game over last year, up 2.9 rebounds, up 0.6 assists, 0.1 blocks, up 5.4% field goal percentage, up 3.3 three-point percentage, and even his free throw percentage was up 0.7 from 0.7% from last season. So he increased so many different aspects of his game. It's not just he became a better scorer. He became a better all-around player, much more impactful all-around player, and one of the few players to get in that category of, 100 dunks, 200 three-pointers, or is it the other way around?
It's 200 threes, 100 dunks.
And very few players in the NBA reach that mark, and so he's very rarefied air for Lauri Markkanen.
So it sounds like he's not necessarily the player of the week. It's like he's the what might be the term I'd use? Most improved? Most improved player of the year?
Of the year?
That sounds like a good term.
That's good. He showed market improvement from Lauri Markkanen. 435-339-0321. If you've got a nominee or a recommendation for player of the week or a stat that blew your mind, 4781. My actual stat is Dylan Brooks saying, I'm out after last night's game.
2 games in a row. He's got a 2-game streak of dipping from the media.
What a scrub. Also, player of the week is Mauricio Dubon.
How you say that?
Has a hit streak of like 19 straight games this season in the MLB so far.
Congrats. But all everyone wants to talk about is Shohei Ohtani, which, I mean, he's a pitcher and a hitter. Got to talk about him.
I did consider the Pirates' big contract extension today. Now, I can't remember the player's name. But there's now only, 3 clubs in Major League Baseball who have not signed a player in their history to over $100 million.
The A's are one of them, aren't they?
The Oakland A's are absolutely one of those 3 teams.
The Mariners another one?
Shoot, now I got to go find it.
I'm trying to think of just the cheapest franchises, and the A's were the first one. I don't know if the Mariners are really that cheap, but 4781 coming in clutch against the players, Brian Reynolds.
Oh, yes, Brian Reynolds. Thank you.
Then he also notes Ohtani is a baller, which he is. He is a baller.
Okay, so the Chicago White Sox, Oakland A's, and Kansas City Royals, the only teams to never hand out a $100 million or more contract.
Not my
Pittsburgh
Giants.
was on the list, but now they're off.
My San Francisco Giants. I don't really claim to be a Giants fan. It's just technically that's my team, if you ask me. Or it could be the Salt Lake City Swingers or whatever. I don't know. I just keep saying Salt Lake City Swingers, and so now it's got to be that because I'm going with it.
You're going to make it so.
I'm going to make it happen. I don't even necessarily like that name. It's not even my favorite, but it's just the one. It's alliteration. Got to go with it. Alliteration is awesome.
So let's call them Salt Lake Stingers then.
Yeah, that works too. Like I said, just whatever works. I'm just really trying to manifest a Major League Baseball team in Salt Lake. Like, you don't have any idea how excited I am to maybe have Major League Baseball. Like, I'm not even a baseball fan. Eric's probably wondering why I suddenly like baseball now. But it's only because I'd have a hometown team to root for.
Yeah, and with and upon further further thought, I'm glad that the Athletics did not come here, that Utah wasn't the landing spot for the Athletics, because it would still be the same management, just a new location.
Yeah.
And that's a poorly run team, which is sad because they have a lot of history. They've had some great individual players, and they've had some runs in their past. But in the modern era, they are a really poorly run organization.
They had a book written about them.
Yeah, they did.
It's a pretty decent book, too. Most of y'all probably haven't even read it. You just saw the movie.
Yeah, it's turned into a movie, yeah.
4781,
I think they should put the team in Provo and call it the Provo Pushers.
Don't ever put another team in Provo. They're insufferable enough.
Yeah, please no. 435-339-0321. If you've got a nomination for Player of the Week or a stat that blew your mind. We'll entertain those. Talk about some more things that are going on. We got NBA playoffs underway right now. We'll update you on those scores as well. Coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Why wait until next winter to get it fixed? Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Hi, this is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. At White Pine, we value compassion, integrity, and service. We are committed to serving you and treating your family as our family. We will be here when you need us most, to listen, to help, and to provide exactly what your circumstances require. At White Pine, we promise to dedicate our time and attention to you and your family. We invite you to come by and meet us. We're confident you'll feel a difference.
It's finally starting to feel like spring, so let Prodigy Brewing spring a delicious experience of flavor and fun into your world. Enjoy Cache Valley's juiciest burgers, tastiest nachos, flavor-filled wood-fired pizzas, and specialty craft brews. And did you know Prodigy Brewing offers an amazing brunch menu every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.? Whether it's lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch, let Prodigy Brewing spring you into deliciousness. Book now for upcoming graduation parties. Prodigy Brewing, exceptional food, extraordinary service, and family-friendly on Center Street in downtown Logan.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
We're getting back into it. By the way, speaking of jacked, Will Levis
got jacked.
Yeah,
he did get ripped up.
It took me back to meeting when the Tampa Bay Bucks to work me out. And they did not like the fact that I was built like that.
That big, yeah.
It's a stigma that exists in the NFL.
Two Pros, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe, Jonas Knox.
Weekday mornings from 4 to 7 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
This is Police Chief Gary Jensen from Logan City Police Department. A number of scams are occurring throughout our city and county. These scams are highly emotional and demand immediacy that you pay, and you pay now. They will say they are from the IRS, the Sheriff's Office, the Police Department, utility companies, medical facilities, or even romance scams. The scammers do their homework. They can do a simple check on the internet of your name and find out where you live, where you used to live, even people that are associated with your name. They are always highly emotional phone calls that demand immediate payment or something bad will happen. Slow down and diffuse by asking questions. If they want you to pay with Bitcoin or gift cards, this is a scam. Be careful. Hang up the phone call is the best thing that you can do. Again, slow down and think. React by hanging up and don't become a victim.
It doesn't matter who you root for. The Full Court Press has all the high school sports covered. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker here on the Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, streaming on the 106.9 The Fan mobile app and 1069thefan.com. Plus, you can go back and listen to past episodes, past audio. If you want to hear what Coach Blake Anderson, Cooper Laga, and Hale Motuapawaka had to say after the spring showcase on Saturday, you can listen to it in entirety, what they said to the media after the practice. And Jason, you've put together a piece on Cache Valley Daily, kind of going through some of the there are some things to be optimistic about with this team, and especially on offense. And that's on CacheValleyDaily.com. That there are reasons for optimism for Utah State football, despite all the transfers that we've seen during the spring.
Yeah, right now I like the offense. There is the one caveat of, all right, if the defense is scrambling, is the offense really performing that good? But the offense is showing they can do it. So, at the very least, they can do the things they're doing, where they're completing passes down the field, they're completing passes the mid-level and short. The running backs are finding lanes, they're hitting them hard, getting long gains. And they don't even have all the guys on offense yet, so they're not exactly a complete product yet either. So I like what I'm seeing from the offense, especially from the wide receivers, tight ends, whatever healthy tight ends they have at this point. Will Money was the only healthy tight end in this last spring practice. But we've seen some good things from Brock Lane. They've got incoming transfers, returning guys at tight end. As I said, the wide receivers are doing good. We've gotten a good look at the guys who will probably be the backup running backs: Davon Booth, Cooper Jones, Jordan Wilmore. Robert Briggs isn't even back, so the running backs have been doing well, and they don't even have the presumed starter. The offensive line looks like it's ahead of schedule on there because you lost 4 starters. Got to replace all of them, but they're looking pretty decent right now in protecting the quarterback and in creating running lanes. So, watching spring ball, you can be optimistic about the offense. Caveats and all about the defense they're going against. And we'll see more of that this fall. Hopefully they'll continue to play well on offense, and that's a unit that's going to have to carry the team. And right now, looks like it's capable of doing so.
Yeah, so this going to be the coaching staff is still going to be busy over these next few weeks. I know that there's still some time for players to put their name in the portal through the end of this week, but is there a time I don't know what the dead periods are where coaches can't communicate with players. I'm not sure what those are, but I know that there have to be certain windows where you can communicate with players that have put their names in the portal. So I know that they're busy. Since practice has ended, they've been all over the place. Bringing kids here and making offers, and haven't heard of any commitments yet, but I know they're busy in trying to fill some of those holes.
Yeah, I'm seeing offers that go all through my timeline. I follow a bunch of different recruiting places that report when players get offers. I mean, I saw one during the last break. They offered some Texas Tech offensive lineman who's gotten some offers from some other G5, well, really lower G5, lower than Utah State G5 programs. So. And it's one of those guys that never played at Texas Tech and he's going to transfer down. And maybe there'll be some of those. I saw some guys they offered from junior colleges the last couple of days. They're going to keep offering these guys. They'll bring some of them in. They'll get some commitments, and they'll go from there. They've got, I don't know, how many spots opened up during spring ball? Like 5 or 6?
Oh, at least.
So fill probably at least that many. And we'll see how they fill them. Are they going to dip back into the JUCO well? I have not been super behind that strategy, but maybe there's a few more good JUCO guys you can bring in. Or are they going to go try to find some P5 transfer downs to fill in these spots, particularly on the offensive line? They need another offensive tackle, I think, or an interior offense. If they can draw in an interior offensive lineman and an offensive tackle from like a P5 school, that could probably shore up the offensive line a lot.
435-339-0321. Another quick timeout here in the Full Court Press. Did get a text that came in. We'll get to that. Talking about professional sports in Utah and some interesting hints, winks on that front from somebody who would be in the know. We'll update you on that coming up next on the Full Court Press.
Rely now on a York Affinity Premium Comfort System to keep your home cool and comfortable. The new Affinity systems are smarter and more connected and more efficient than ever before. And you can cut your energy costs by as much as 50%. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, to schedule a free system evaluation. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning showroom is west of DI and online at advancedheating-ac.com.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Don't get caught without power to your home or business. This is Tyler with Golden Spike Electric. We offer Generac backup generators to keep your home or business warm, avoiding frozen pipes, loss of valuable food, or even a flooded basement. Golden Spike Electric is certified and factory trained, so you know it will be installed right and properly maintained. Contact Golden Spike Electric so you'll never be without power again. Online at gsegenerators.com. We also service other brands, Golden Spike Electric and Generac, power you can count on.
Alpine Home Medical has been around for over 25 years. Can you believe that? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. What keeps us coming to work every day? We're passionate about caring for you. From home and bathroom safety to transportation, mobility, recovery, oxygen, sleep, and more, come into any of our 10 locations today and let us take care of you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring
Visit us at alpinehomemedical.com.
Flowers are the perfect way to say Happy Secretary's Day.
Oh, wait, that's wrong. What are we calling it now?
Administrative Assistance Day, I think.
I've seen Admin's Day.
What about Executive Admin's Day?
Barbara says it's Administrative Professionals Day. Who's Barbara? My administrative professional.
We have a winner.
Call Plant Peddler Floral and show appreciation to your secretary, administrative professional. Call 753-0444. They'll deliver a beautiful floral arrangement. Plant Peddler Floral, 753-0444.
Join the show by calling 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker, last couple of minutes of the show. 1570 texting in. I heard Ryan Smith has been working on getting an NHL team here. Is Utah big enough to have 3 professional sports and support them?
Yeah, I mean, me and Eric were talking about this during the break, and I think we both have skepticism about an NHL
Don't you mean
team.
4 professional sports?
Yeah, before. Everyone always forgets RSL.
Real Salt Lake is
they
major.
exist.
It's a major franchise.
And they get good attendance. They're a decent team. I know I guess I kind of wrongly attributed bad years the last 4 or 5 years, even though they've made the playoffs most of the time. I was wrong when I made that statement. So but they have a championship. They have a professional championship. That's more than the Jazz can say.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, like the thing is that, I don't know, you kind of made this point where it's like with baseball, there's college baseball, there's high school baseball, like Division I college baseball, high school baseball. Just about every high school in Utah is probably going to have a baseball team.
A lot of kids play Little League growing up. Even if they don't end up playing baseball later on, there's a lot of kids who get exposed to baseball in their youth.
Yeah, it's a sport that everyone's playing. There's a lot of softball, so obviously a lot of softball players are probably going to like, Major League Baseball. People go to Bees games. There's a lot of interest in that. And so, of course, people would love, I got super excited about MLB. I played baseball as a kid, followed baseball around here. I'd love it. And then an NHL team, I love NHL. I watched parts of 3 NHL games last night. I like hockey. I like the Utah State hockey team up here, but, I'm in the minority there. There's not a single Division I, not even a NCAA college team. They're all ACHA. Most of them ACHA Division II.
Yeah,
so
anything around here is club. There's just not that culture of hockey.
And there's no UHSAA hockey.
Right.
It's club hockey. Like around here, we've got one or just the one team, or is it 2?
I don't even know.
It's it's a Cache Valley team. And I think there might be one. There's at least one, maybe 2. And they play a few games a year up here, and it's like, I like the hockey around here. I've covered it. I've enjoyed it, but I don't. And maybe it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing. Like if you get an NHL team, if you build it, will they come? Maybe. But that's an awfully big risk that is being made. That Utah is suddenly going to become a hockey state when they are not one right now.
So part of what's going on here is that some people have been hitting up Ryan Smith. There's been a few things here and there that kind of indicate that he has been talking to the NHL, and they like talking to Ryan Smith. And somebody hit him up on social media not that long ago, just a few days ago, about what is the possibility here, and he replied, "It's in motion." That's all he said. It's in motion. And so now everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be a foregone conclusion." The question is it a brand new team, or is it a relocation? Because the team that seems to be talked about the most are the Phoenix Coyotes, who are in a lot of trouble, and that could be a relocation of their franchise.
Yeah, maybe you could do that, move them. I don't know if they come in the Utah Coyotes, or if you go far enough, you just start calling them the Coyotes, but maybe not quite far enough north to be calling them that. But I don't know. I'm just not sure how I feel about an NHL team. I'd like for one to come here and be successful. It's no skin off my back if a NHL team is successful, but I just worry that there's not going to be a fan base. They're flaming out in Arizona because nobody plays hockey down there.
Right? There's not a hockey culture. They tried to project it, build it, and it will come. And They've been at it for a while, and it's been a real struggle.
Yeah, and Ryan Smith would need to spend, and he's not spending on RSL. He's not spending on the Jazz yet. You got to be able to spend. Like, the only way to overcome not having a hockey culture is spending a ton of money.
So it's who knows? Could be an announcement on that level soon, before too long, if it's in motion. Maybe a matter of days before we hear that an NHL franchise could be making its move to the Beehive State.
Yeah, maybe that could end up manifesting sooner than a baseball team.
Because he doesn't have to build an arena for that.
He probably would. From what I've heard, they'd be building a new arena.
Well, he could house them in Vivint for the time being if he needed to.
Yeah, perhaps. So that could happen earlier than the MLB team. It may or may not, but it could happen sooner.
That'll do it for us tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back at it again tomorrow.